Just going ahead and share my screen then.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get that for everyone. And there we go. And can you see just fine? There's no like weird gray boxes anywhere. Okay, great. Okay, so like I said, I just want to go over, most of you know our program. A lot of you are already involved, but we basically had a season off last year for safety purposes. So I want to kind of give everybody a refresher for those of you that are new and new members of Clearwater Audubon Society, kind of give you an idea of what we do as Audubon Florida and how we could really use your help this year for the birds. So our shorebird program uses volunteers as bird stewards out on the beach and chick checkers at rooftop nesting sites. And if you're not familiar with rooftop nesting, I'll get into that in a little bit. But if you love being out on the beach, I know if you're part of Clearwater Audubon, you love birds. If you like boat rides once in a while, then being a bird steward or being a chick checker is probably right up your alley. So bird stewards, these are our chick sitters and data collectors out on the beaches. This is actually one of our signs that we use pretty often at our colonial sites. This one is very beat up. It had a very long, hard season this past year. But bird stewards, these are our bird stewards. This is what we do. We are out there to chick sit, colony sit, educate the public, let them know why we have this huge area roped off for these black birds that are just sitting, or at Three Worker Island, why we have most of the island closed off for these loud colonies of birds and their chicks. So we post up and just answer questions and let people know what's happening. So these are all of our stewardship sites, our main stewardship sites in the Tampa Bay area. But if you are part of Clearwater Audubon, those top three are most likely easiest to access and closest to you. Three Worker Islands, there's north and south. It's part of Honeymoon Island State Park, and we work with the park staff to get volunteers out to Three Worker Island for a few hours on the weekend. Sit on an island with your beach chair and talking to people and watching the birds and helping us collect some data. Clearwater Point is a private access beach. We have black skimmers nesting there. They actually do really well. And then sometimes Sand Key Park in Clearwater, we may have some nesting there. And if you live close enough, there's always Indian Rocks Beach or Indian Shores where we also have black skimmers nesting. So I'm talking about these birds. This is a black skimmer. It's a colonial species. They're really, really cool birds. And they nest at all of our sites. We also have least terns. They don't nest at all of our sites. And these are primarily on rooftops in Pinellas County. We also have American oyster catchers nesting at some of these sites, particularly Three Worker Island, out of those main ones. And we have all of these other birds as well. So what you're looking at here is called a creche, and this is something not many people get to see, but if you become a bird steward at Three Worker Island, this is exactly what you'll be protecting. All of these adult terns and all of their cute little chicks and laughing gulls. I know the gulls are such a pain in the butt on the beach, but their chicks are very, very cute and also worth protecting. So I want to just show off what Three Worker looks like. If a day out there, I know there aren't any people out here right now. This was not a good boating day. But this is kind of a taste of what you'll see if you're a bird steward out at Three Rooker. And I don't know if Elimelec has joined us yet, but that was his voice in the background. And he was saying that there are thousands and thousands of birds. That is true. Take what you just heard and multiply it by way more than what you heard, and it's an incredible sight out there. And this is what you'll be protecting at any of our sites, our chicks, our baby birds. And this is a young royal tern. And they are a little faster than they look. But these areas are all roped off and protected. There we go. And bird stewards aren't always just there to educate. You can see right here, we have volunteers that come out and help with the posting, putting up signs. There's actually a group heading out to Three Rooker to help park staff put up some signage in preparation for nesting. And you can see our crew here at Clearwater Point taking down all the posts and signs at the end of the season. It's definitely a 2+ person job. We need help with monitoring and counting, help with, when we get back to it, tabling events and educational events. And this is actually our group at St. Pete Beach last year, social distancing on the 4th of July. But if you are not a beach person, which is totally fine, we still have shorebirds up on gravel rooftops. So this is an alternative nesting habitat, and with nesting comes chicks, and potentially those chicks could fall over the edge of the rooftop. So we need chick checkers and data collectors for gravel rooftops. And so these are our rooftop sites all throughout the Suncoast area, the Tampa Bay area. And this is a zoomed in portion of Pinellas County and even over in Hillsborough County. But you can see how many rooftops there have been in the past. It looks very similar this year, and there's probably a rooftop close to you, or even a rooftop that we don't know about yet. So this is what a rooftop looks like. This was taken from a much taller vantage point on top of a Winn-Dixie, and these little dots are all least terns. So at one point, this Winn-Dixie hosted up to 500 least terns nesting on the rooftop. Oyster catchers also nest on rooftops. And we're starting to see black skimmers nesting on rooftops as well. Another Winn-Dixie, surprise, surprise. But as you can see, this is a zoomed in picture. If I didn't tell you that that was on top of a gravel rooftop, would you have known that it was a rooftop versus a beach? It just looks so similar. And this is why these birds are looking to gravel rooftops. It's an alternative habitat, not a great habitat, but it gives them space, and there really aren't any people up there. So we need volunteers to identify new rooftops. If you see a rooftop and there are skimmers landing on top of it, or an oyster catcher calling over the side, let us know, and then you can help us start monitoring that. In the top left corner, we need people to help chick-proof rooftop edges so that chicks don't accidentally fall over, like the small least tern chick in the bottom left. And then we also use chickabooms in the right hand. This is a local Audubon chapter original tool to help get chicks back up onto the rooftop without actually having to get onto the rooftop ourselves. And the best thing about the Chick-a-Boom is that it is reuniting chicks with their parents, and they make it. It's great. So this is a least turn fledge. When the fledges fly off the rooftop, they get down, they glide down, it's great, but then all of a sudden they can't get enough lift to get back up. So that's where chick checkers come in. And then with all the chick checking efforts, eventually mom and dad bring their chicks down off the roof and try and make their way to the beach. So you can become a volunteer, a couple different ways, either through the bird stewardship program by chaperoning these nesting sites, doing the education and monitoring, helping with the nest counts, or through the rooftop nesting program, which is, you can sit in your car and do that if you don't like the sun, monitoring the rooftop sites, chick checking for any fallen chicks, or just helping us get those counts and reporting the activity. And for those of you who may not want to volunteer, maybe you're not a people person, totally understandable, or you're just trying to stay safe. There are so many other ways to help. If you're out on the beach walking, just keep your distance, making sure you don't flush birds, don't feed birds that are out on the beach, keeping your pets off the beach, become a volunteer or just spread the word. Attending a talk like this is wonderful. Sharing this link once we're done with the Facebook Live, sharing this and letting other people know all about the nesting birds. So if you are interested in this, we will start holding trainings for stewardship at Three Worker Island in April. And we will do municipal beach training for black skimmer colonies in May. And I will be sure to share those links and those dates and everything with all of you. So take a picture of the screen, go back and rewatch it, the video, but this is my contact information if you're interested in getting out on the beach and stewarding and chick sitting, or you can contact Kara Cook, who is our new rooftop biologist, if you're interested in becoming a volunteer with the rooftops. And then of course our lovely websites if you just want to learn more, or you can check us out on Facebook as well. So I'll leave this up for a second. Is there a way to do questions? Were there any questions or yeah.
We can use the Q&A forum, or they can type questions into the chat, either way.
Okay.
You can also add your email into the chat if anyone's interested. Well, obviously it'll be on Facebook later on.
Okay, let me find the chat and I'll just throw that in there for now. And yeah, if you have any questions at all, if you think of something later, please feel free to email me or reach out somehow. And I'll be more than happy to answer those questions and get you volunteering. So thank you all very much.
Great. Thanks, Holley.
All right.
And the boys are back. You have sound. Awesome. All right. Now I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I have you. Yay.
Awesome, awesome. Sorry, I had some major issues there. First of all, my name, I'm going to introduce myself, right?
Yes.
My name is Elimelec Medina. I work with the Department of Environmental Protection of Florida, and I have my boss, Randy Reynolds. It says Elimelec, but that's really Randy, Dr. Randy Reynolds. So today what we're looking for, we're trying to reach out to Clearwater Audubon for help. And Randy, feel free to jump in if anything, any comments. because we're trying to do a bird surveys in a property that's under the Department of Environmental Protection, under our office, the Tampa Bay Aquatic Reserve. The property, and I can share the screen real quick. Let me see. And I can show you where the property is. So, okay, I'm gonna start sharing. So everybody can see this. So this is Tarpon Lake right here. The property is exactly north from John Chesnut, and what we're trying to do is do a few surveys during the year, especially migrating season in the north part of John Chesnut Park. This is all the southern part of the map. It's John Chesnut, and the property is 2 lots. They're about 75, 80 acres big, and they're swampy, very difficult terrain to go in, but we need help doing the surveys, and we want to try to ID the most amount of birds we can, and we're going to try to do, especially ID them during nesting, migrating seasons, trying to ID warblers, songbirds, woodpeckers. And the reality is that this is not really my area, my expertise. I don't know if Holley told you, I worked with her last year in the grade 3 Rooker project over there. Amazing. And we're reaching out to Audubon Clearwater for some help, because this is a very very difficult, there we go. It's a very challenging project for us, because there's so many birds, and if, I don't know if Randy wants to say something or anything. The scenario, we're still working on the plan. We still figuring it out. There's a lot of potential for volunteers. And we have to say that the reality is that it's a very challenging environment. It's the swamp. The great thing about this project is that it's pristine, never disturbed project area. Terrain, one of the very few lots here in Pinellas County that it has not been disturbed by humans. So it's a great opportunity, and we will really love your help. I don't know, Randy.
Yeah, I'll jump in. The history of this parcel, and I had another map here, but I can't bring it up right now. But basically it was those 2 parcels at the top. It wasn't the John Chesnut Park part or anything like that. And there's a road that it kind of tapers down to one little area that's adjacent to a road. So with botanists, for example, we've had botanists out there to do plant surveys, and the older retired botanists that we really value and all, but they go in a little ways there before it gets too swampy. And then the younger, more spry botanists, they'll go on back in there, and wade through knee deep or waist deep mud and water and stuff like that. But it's 80 acres of swamp tupelo and bald cypress, and beautiful air plants, orchids, irises as tall as me, and they'll be blooming in a few months. It's amazing. And what happened was this was given to the state many years ago, because most people don't realize, but the Tampa Bay's aquatic preserves, the Pinellas County Aquatic Preserves includes some freshwater areas that the submerged land is stayed on. So Lake Tarpon, a lot of that is aquatic preserve. And as I guess part of a development deal many years ago, several decades ago, before I started with DEP, somebody gave this land to the state as part of some development deal. And so it sat there for decades, and the state forgot they owned it. I never did hear they owned it until some neighbors, I think it's called the Landings, the adjacent housing development, they were concerned about limbs falling on their lawn over the boundary. And it's really, the limbs were falling from a buffer that they own. It's kind of, I guess, a conservation easement or something. So it doesn't directly abut the manicured lawns and all. There's a kind of a swampy part in there that's owned by the homeowners association, and I guess maintains a conservation easement. But anyway, so I went out there and talked to them. They got in touch with the ombudsman in the DEP secretary's office, and they asked me to go out and talk to them, and they were very happy with having it back there and all that. They just wanted to know who managed it and all, and nobody managed it at the time because the state had forgotten they owned it. So normally we'd have to, even though we're a state agency, we have to get a lease to manage it. So we did a miniature management plan and did a lease, got a lease for it. And we've done, plant lists, things like that, but our bird list is woefully inadequate. And I'm very curious about what birds are there. And it's like a time capsule of what some of Pinellas County used to be like. So I know the botanists love getting out there and seeing what's out there. And I would think that people who are, interested in bird habitat in Pinellas County would probably like that. I've spoken with Clearwater Audubon a couple of years ago when we really got involved with it, but I guess that never got off the ground. So we're going to make another run at it and see if we can get some people interested in. And I would defer to people. I'm a marine invertebrate person primarily, so I would defer to people who know a lot more about birds than me to determine when and how any surveys should be done. But if you could find an ivory-billed woodpecker out there, that'd be nice. Then we'd have no problem getting people out there to survey birds. Anyway, so that's the bottom line. Is it was forgotten for several decades. It's like a kind of a time capsule. You don't want to go all the way to the far corner away from the road of it, because I've been out there before, like struggling in waist deep mud to pull myself up on a high spot of cypress knees and then sink into another waist deep pit. And finally I said, I don't know if I can get out of here. So, but I've only been at that part once, and I'd like to go back someday, but I haven't gotten the gumption to do that yet. But it basically grades gradually from kind of fairly upland type conditions to sticky mud, and eventually you'll get into knee deep water and mud and waist deep water, just as far as people want to go. But I think you can see a lot without going into the most brutal part of it. So that's the bottom line. We just like to get some people who are enthusiastic about these things to be involved, and it seemed like a great opportunity to see some habitat that's not very abundant in the county anymore. And it probably you'd have some of that habitat in Chesnut Park, but this is an area that's hardly ever disturbed. I've seen a few evidence of illegal hunting out there over the years, but a little bit of evidence. But overall, it's just beautiful. I stand in the middle of that and I look around. And I think I'm in Pinellas County. It's just amazing to stand out there and look around you. And so, anyway, I'd like to get y'all's feedback if that's something that you'd be interested in, collaborating with us on. And we do a lot more shorebird and wading bird stuff, colonial water birds and stuff. But we see a lot of some of our species, spoonbills and ibises, out here foraging. So to us, it's an integral part of the habitat mosaic that we should be managing. Some of these ibises and things, they really could use some more freshwater foraging areas. So it's really, I think it all connects together for us. Anyway, that's my spiel.
So we have here a great opportunity for volunteering, and we are officially reaching out to Audubon Clearwater. The challenge is it's there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be intense. And the other thing that we need to point out, and sorry, Randy, to cut you off, is that we're still planning a lot of it. We are thinking probably, right, Randy, doing some point counts surveys. It's not going to be, we're not thinking to make it too very thorough scientific. It's just a general idea. We have a good idea what this in John Chesnut. We're pretty sure we're going to see it in that area. But we're pretty sure we can find some other awesome stuff, and we would love for Audubon Clearwater to join in this venture. I can leave you my email, or Randy, I don't know if you want to leave your email.
Either way, yeah. You're kind of a bird point person right now, so I would say,
yes, sir.
I'll leave it to you to organize it. But I'd say probably qualitative is going to be a lot easier than quantitative out there. But I whenever I go out in the field used to go out with Rich and Ann Paul and all those people, and with Mark, Rachel. Whenever I go out with them, I learn something every time. I realize how little I know about birds and how much I need to defer to people who know about birds to design any kind of survey. But even a qualitative species list is more than what we have right now. The botanists are way ahead. So.
Right, and that's going to be a dynamic list anyway, seasonally. So that's so volunteers could expect to receive some sort of training for for gathering field data in that area, specifically what you're looking for. Obviously, they need to be gear ready for that environment, but
Yeah.
so
And
general data collection.
we would definitely want to be out there. We probably should put some more boundary signs in along, like I say, the boundary of the state-owned property is actually set back in the swamp some, and it's not a given set distance. It kind of angles back in further and further into there. So we have some boundary signs and some metal T-posts and stuff that we could probably put some more signs in there. We should go out and do that along that boundary just so that people aren't straying over too much. I would also I need to contact the homeowner association there and let them know we're going to do a bird survey. Sometimes the homeowners hear somebody back in the swamp and they'll yell back, "Who's there?" You know, and all that. So it's good to be to be a good neighbor there. But we can handle things like contacting the homeowner association, coordinate with them, and just let them know what's going on, and maybe putting in some more boundary signs. Because right now we're using our handheld GPS. And it has an aerial photograph, shows where we are and shows the virtual boundary on the GPS screen. And so for us, that's fine. But, you know, if you're out there without a GPS, it'd be nice to have some boundary signs. So we have those sitting there. We can put some of those in. And that way we set up for the long run for people going out there. I recommend that if people don't have a GPS, well, even with the GPS, I take a compass just because, you know, it's great when the technology works, but when it doesn't, it's good to have a primitive backup. And then sometimes if we have a group out there, we'll also take some flagging tape and we'll temporarily flag trees as we go back in there, just so we can, you know, because it would be possible for a person to get lost back there if they're not, you know, used to the outdoors and all that. So I would say probably should do some sort of a very controlled approach at first. And get out there and see what people are up to. And I mean, like as far as the physical parts of it and all that, and get the lay of the land. And I would guess that some of your experienced birders and all would get out there and say, oh, this is what we need to do once they see the area. So I would say probably like a reconnaissance event or something like that. I think that's what we did with the Native Plant Society a couple years ago. We had a kind of reconnaissance event where we went out there and then they had ideas on what we should be looking for and all that. We had actually had some experienced 2 retired botanists work with us, some that were able to mentor some of the younger people. One of my big beefs, or not big beef, but I think that we fall short on is we have a lot of retired people, whether it's botanists or ornithologists, whatever in the area. And there isn't a really good mechanism for them to mentor the younger up and coming people. And so these events can be a vehicle for that if we plan them properly. Because I know I was mentored by a lot of people in Texas and oceanography and marine biology who are no longer there. And I know a lot of the stuff they taught me is not in writing anywhere, you know, so I feel like we really have a great resource here in Tampa Bay area with a lot of people who are retired and all that we're maybe not tapping into as well as we could. And so I'm open to that sort of thing, structuring these so they could do that.
Definitely experience.
Yeah, so yeah, just to add real quick, so we're still planning, like basically Randy said, and we're open to suggestions. We do need help, and we appreciate the opportunity to speak to Clearwater Audubon, and I think that's all we have for today from our part.
Awesome. Well, we'll put that information out there. We'll have that obviously in our social media and back in our newsletter again. I have a few ideas for specific people to tug their ear about it because they're always ready for, you know, boots on the ground, recon mission, put on your tactical gear and cameras and, you know, let's go check things out, especially when there's not a lot of people birding that same area and their level of expertise and their body of knowledge is just insane, you know.
Yeah.
And that's really great to be able to get those people out there. And like you said, mentor some other people in good, you know, field practice and data collection and, you know, where to be and where to look. And sometimes it's not where you think you should be. And that takes expertise and time. So I agree, definitely. All right. Well, thanks.
Sounds good.
For joining. You're welcome to stay for the bird ID and brews. We're just going to have a fun bird ID. It's a YouTube video. It's a lot of fun. And I'm going to enable everybody's voice so you can shout out if you want to. So if you haven't already done so, grab your favorite beverage. We're going to allow everybody to talk here.
I appreciate I'm writing an exam right now that I'm kind of, I thought when I stopped being a student that the deadlines would go away, but they don't. So I'm writing an exam for a night course that I teach. So I probably should get that finished and I'll feel a lot better. But thanks so much for your time. And we look forward to working with some of the people and learning a lot from them as well. So
Well, thank you. I appreciate you joining us tonight as well.
thanks. Bye-bye.
I just want to point out real quick something. I know that Holley talk about steward work, and please help, because last year I was the 3 Ruger coordinator, and it's a amazing experience, but it's a beast. It's a lot for one person. So unfortunately, I'm not gonna do it this year, which it's a job that I truly love, but Audubon does need help, and the challenge is big, the need is big, and Holley, by the way, I'm gonna volunteer. Okay, I'll help you. No problem. That's all I have. Have a good night, guys.
Night. Have a good night. Thank you. All right. So let me see if I can get us going here. Here we are. Ooh, I don't know if I shared my sound. I always forget to do that. Did you share your sound? Here it is. Share computer sound. Got it. Awesome. I know this is kind of silly, but I need something silly this week. It's been a crazy week. All right.
Burn your Eastern USA birds.
No, I just shouted out.
Hi, I'm Marty. See how many birds you can identify using my video.
All birds shown can be found in the Eastern United States.
That's so smart.
Let's try out the game with a Costa Rican bird that you won't see in my quiz. Each bird is shown for about 5 seconds. Call out the name of the bird before the bird is identified by the label.
Is it a sunbittern?
Good job, Romeo. You're correct. Pause the video at any time to look up your bird in your favorite
Oh, we're
field
not looking
guide.
at birds. Come on.
Relax and enjoy. There are 84
Bye-bye.
birds to identify in 14 minutes.
Don't forget to unmute if you want.
Hey folks, let's go birding.
So easy. If you get it right, you're supposed to take a drink. I
Feel green.
Oh yeah, Pineville Grebe.
Nice.
Great blue heron.
Yay. Wow, that's a big fish.
Oh wow,
Everybody else voice it.
Either.
this is fun.
Blue heron.
Gotta look at the toes up, I think.
No egret.
Oh, egret. Green
Green
heron.
heron. Dark brown night heron. This is Springfield.
This.
Where's Judy when you need it? I don't even know that one.
Spotted.
These are all the birds I don't know. They're hiking. Semi-palmated sandpiper. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, is that a
At least, no.
long
Short-billed
downward?
badger.
Morning
Morning dove.
Ooh.
Morning dove.
Cuckoo. Yellow-billed cuckoo.
Oh, yeah. Whoever said cuckoo, good job. Nice.
Look,
Hard.
hard owl. Who cooks for you?
Dude, that was great.
Ooh, ruby throat.
Oh.
Monarda, I think. That's a red-bellied woodpecker. What's that?
Oh, that's
Downy
that's a downy, right?
or hairy?
Beak. Downy.
Downy, yeah.
That one looks like a downy, but it has a longer beak.
Oh, it's a hairy.
Oh.
Pileated.
Yeah.
Or is it that ivory bill that
Is that a flicker?
Oh.
Yeah, nice job. Eastern wood beak.
It's a flycatcher, yeah. Oh, oh, it's a wood pewee. It's in the flycatcher family, though.
Oh.
They're next to impossible to identify. Phoebe.
There's your Phoebe, yeah. Nice.
Aggressive flycatcher.
Great crested. Oh, what's that? Oh, eastern kingbird. Oh, yeah. Warbling vireo. Don't know those. Good idea. Blue jay. Purple martin.
Martin, yeah. Martin houses.
It says leave a dugout.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Some sort of swallow. Is it a tree
Swallow.
swallow or a
Tree
barn swallow?
swallow. Tree.
Tree swallow.
Tree.
swallow.
Nice.
Barn swallow.
Oh. Fidget mouse.
Mouse.
They're handsome.
Chickadee. Blackcap. No, Carolina. That's what we have here, right? Carolina.
Are we the only ones playing?
No. Nuthatch. Carolina wren.
Yeah, nice.
Tail. Marsh wren.
Oh.
Marsh wren.
Marsh wren?
Pretty.
Oh, yeah.
There's tail.
There's tail. Yeah.
Oh, what is that?
Blue-headed vireo.
Blue-headed vireo. Yeah. Oh, blue-gray gnatcatcher. Oh,
That's a tricky
blue-gray
one.
gnatcatcher.
it's a
Eastern
bluebird. Eastern bluebird.
Hi, India.
Hi, Nancy.
thrush? Some sort of thrush.
Itchy thrush.
Thrush, some sort of thrush.
Some other kind of thrush. Good thrush.
What's thrush?
Hi,
Robin.
Marianne. Hi, Marianne.
Hi, Marianne.
Robin.
Turdus migratorius.
That's a catbird.
Catbird. Yeah. Catbird.
It's awfully fluffy.
Mockingbird.
Aw.
Bird. Northern mockingbird.
Brown thrasher. Brown thrasher.
Oh, brown thrasher. Sure. Yeah. Cedar waxwing.
Cedar, that's right. Cedar waxwing. Nice. Good job. Yellow thrush?
Marula warbler.
Parula warbler. Yeah.
Oh,
Northern parula. Yeah.
Oh, prairie warbler?
Yellow
Yellow warbler.
warbler.
Yellow warbler.
yellow rump.
Oh yeah, yellow warbler.
Oh,
I
that's
knew
a
one. I knew a warbler.
rump.
Oh, great. That's
Pine. Pine warbler.
pine warbler.
Pine warbler. Yeah. This one. Yeah.
Probably. I was going to say they're probably going to have a palm warbler next.
Mine warbler.
Prairie warbler.
Prairie. Don't know our warblers, do we?
No.
That's a palm. I see the chestnut head.
Nice. Good call.
Palm. Yeah.
Black and
That's a
white.
black and white warbler. That is.
Eastern toad.
Oh, I know what that's a red start. No.
American red start.
Yeah, what is a red start? Yeah. And that's a prothonotary, is it? Oh,
Yeah. Planetary.
That's still on my list.
and that is
Ovenbird.
ovenbird.
Nice. Good one.
Sweet. Oh, water thrush.
Louisiana
Sort
water
of
thrush.
water
Northern
thrush.
Water thrush. Louisiana water thrush. That is a
Common yellow throat.
common yellow throat.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's the
Got the
one?
mask.
He's handsome.
And that is not a cardinal. Is that a
No.
tanager?
Tanager.
Yeah. I'm trying to. It's blanking out.
Yeah, me too.
Tanager. Yeah. That's female. Scarlet tanager. And that is a group-decided towhee.
Towhee. Oh, how beautiful.
Eastern towhee, they call them now. Yeah. Yep, here's a grasshopper skull.
They played the sparrow.
Indeterminate sparrows.
Nice.
City side.
Number 12.
It's pretty.
Strong sparrow.
Well, any of these sparrows.
Palm sparrow. White-throated sparrow.
It's gotta be
Wow,
some-
that's really-
Okay, that we know.
Northern Cardinal.
It's a
Oh,
bunting.
bunting. This is for
Grosbeak.
bunting.
Oh, blue grosbeak. Oh, yeah. That's it. Oh, red-winged blackbird. It's dull life. It's a grackle.
Grackle, bullet-tailed grackle, common grackle.
Cowbird.
Orchard oriole.
Oh,
Lovely.
Oh, good, Marianne.
there's one. Baltimore oriole. A purple finch. House finch. Oh,
Oh,
little finch.
Do you want more bird identification flash videos? Subscribe.
It's fun.
That is fun. I did add that to our YouTube party mix. So if you ever get around to our YouTube channel, there are some fun games there. We're trying to do a few virtual field trips. So if you want to take a walk through a park, we're trying to get people. I did one park with a GoPro. We have some other birders who are going to try to focus on specific birds seasonally. And we have a native plant expert that's going to try to do a native plant walk with the GoPro. So people that are still quarantined at home by choice or by not can view those videos. So we'll try to provide more of those as we go along. And of course, all the previous programs are on our YouTube site. So you can go and watch those anytime. We'd love to hear from you. So if anytime you'd like to email us, just head on over to our website, which is clearwateraudubonsociety.org. Scroll all the way to the bottom. There's all our social media there. And you can still watch it, the recorded version on our Facebook page. I think it stays on for about 48 hours. And of course, any of our social media links will give you insight into new field trips and other programs. We also have a MailChimp newsletter that goes out. That's also available on our website. But I'd like to, again, thank our speakers for tonight and thank each of you for your continued support of Clearwater Audubon, and watch your email for upcoming events and field trips. And we hope that you're safe and we'll see you soon. So thanks for playing tonight. Have a great night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.